What up? This is your boy DJ EFN. You might know me as a drink champ, but first and foremost, I'm a proud father. I linked up with two of my other dad homies, Manny Digital and KGB, to start the Fatherhoods podcast. Each week, we bring you insider hip-hop stories, parenting, and advice and therapy. The saying is true, it takes a village, and we humorously serve as each other's trusted counsel in figuring out how not to screw up being a good dad.
The Fatherhood Podcast. Beats, rhymes, and diapers.
Yo, Fatherhoods fam, when you're out and about with your baby and they start wilding out, what do? Most dudes are fumbling through the traditional baby bag their lady prepped for them, trying to find that one thing that will calm the kid down. That doesn't have to be your life. Dig no more. The firstborn diaper backpack from Fly Dad has over 21 compartments to have everything right where you need it to be for you and your baby, and keeping you fly through the process. Get $20 off when you visit flydadgear.com/fatherhoods.
Welcome back! Back to school, baby!
Yes! I'm still 3 weeks away, but
wow.
Today was your kid's first day.
Today was I think it's kind of wacky that they do a 2-day first week. It's like
that's
like a little tease, but then it's like also it's a tease, and then they go to the weekend, and then the next week seems such a long week for them, you know?
Mm-hmm. By the way, you won't hear Kay on this episode. He's busy. Parent shit. What are you gonna do?
He's doing pre-K.
Yo, so now you got full-time school for both kids, right?
Right. He's in VPK.
So it's part-time.
Which is, they have like a thing where I think it's ridiculous. If they're going to an elementary school, he's supposed to get out like at 11:30 in the morning. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, nah. But you got him on like extended time.
They have something called an enrichment program.
Yeah.
And then they have after school care, which we used to have our daughter in, but now we're cutting after school care for her, and we're not going to put him in. He's just going to do the enrichment program, which takes him closer to, within minutes, like 10 minutes. He gets out 10 minutes earlier than my daughter.
Got it.
Yeah.
But like they're both in the same school now.
Same school, down, 2 halls away from each other in class-wise.
I can't wait to hear how this develops, because the house relationship, I want to see how different it is, just them in the same building in school.
Well, I'll tell you one thing that was already dope that I heard right now when we picked them up, and even the teachers brought it up. Like, they ran into each other at the playground.
And it was all love.
Hugs, love. And then the 2 teachers were able to talk because they were trying to relay to us, like, what's the best way to pick them up and drop them off, being that it's 2 of them. And they actually spoke amongst each other, the 2 teachers, to figure out what's best for them.
Okay, so they're trying to coordinate on your behalf.
Yeah, which I'm like, that's crazy. They would take such a hands-on personal approach to us.
That's good though. That's a good sign, because that means they care. Because that's easy for them to just be like, whatever, y'all figure it out.
Yeah, and then they must, because one teacher did get to see. No, they both actually got to see the 2 kids. But I'm assuming, because it was chaos yesterday at the orientation, I'm assuming they really hone in. But I think when they saw them at the playground together, the 2 teachers were able to connect through that.
Got it. Now, the question everybody that's listening really wants to hear is, did you cry?
No.
So you're good now, because it was pretty significant for you last time school started.
Yeah. I did tear up for both of them going to their daycare situation.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did tear up a little bit when my daughter started school, like regular school,
right.
But none. I didn't tear up, but I was, definitely, worried about them, concerned, thinking about them a lot, happy, hoping that they just had a good day, and it was all smiles, and it was all smiles. I'm trying to figure out, I sent you a picture. You noticed my son had a little bruising on his eye.
A shiner?
Yeah, he had a shiner. Exactly. That's what I've been calling it too. And we were like hoping it would have gone away by school, because my friend, my boy, our fellow Dominican Socrates, who's a teacher.
Socrates.
He's like, yeah, man, we're supposed to document when we see stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, we usually don't think anything of it the first time. But if we start to see, signs of it, consistently, then it becomes an issue. Socrates was saying that we should have just told the teacher outright what was wrong, like, what the bruise was. But I almost felt like that's like making it weirder. Like, hey, by the way, you see this bruise right here? Like, this is what happened. Like, I'm just like, like, I'm not going to go and do all that. Like, luckily it went down significantly, but you saw the picture today and you noticed it immediately.
Yeah, I picked it up.
So for sure the teacher, so I asked my son, I was like, did the teacher ask you about your little, black eye? And he was like, he's communication wise. He was like, yeah. And I was like, he's like, I told her. That's what he said basically. And I was like, so what did you say? But then he was like, mumbling and
Yeah.
And I'm like, did you tell her how it happened? Yeah.
So he is your kid, bro. That's how you talk.
Yeah. Basically, I like lyrics, but my regular talk is mumble rap.
Yeah. So you were talking about the bus potentially, right? Like sending them on the bus a while back.
No. We talked about buses and that my daughter went on a little field trip in a bus recently for the first time.
Right. It wasn't for the school. It wasn't a school bus.
Yeah, we talked about if I would consider it. I'm like, I'd rather them not. The kids say they want to do the bus.
They always want to do it.
But if I can control that and have the luxury of driving them or my wife driving them, I'd rather do that.
So that's not an option for them right now. Meaning it's available, but you're just not allowing that to be.
No need for it. No need for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just curious because the pressure does start to mount. Like with my kids, I mean, we were always going to put them on the bus, but they were like, yo, we want to go on the bus. And, they kind of like pushing us even though we were going to do it. So I'm curious to see if that ends up happening because, it's like it's a vibe for the kids. Like there's this other social aspect of school when they're on the bus.
Of course. Yeah, the bus was the whole thing. Good and bad. Good and bad. Like I remember my induction into taking the bus was horrific. The early because I not literally because I did go to public school in elementary here, but I went from private school, Catholic school in LA to public school here. And within a year or two of that, started taking the bus to junior high. And my
school bus, like a yellow bus?
Yeah. Okay. And I was going over, talking about it with my wife. And I was like, man, I remember, first of all, we're walking to the school bus and it's still dark.
Damn, it was that early?
Yeah, it was like 6 something. And then our school bus stop, for whatever reason, was over like a mile away.
You had to troop it to a mile to the bus stop?
Yeah.
Ain't no sense.
Yeah, dog. It was about a mile away.
Yo,
and
that's crazy.
Yeah, because I think they didn't have that many stops, so they had to put it somewhere where it's like a bunch of kids could get it. And I remember often walking and seeing the bus, and we had some wild bus drivers. And if we were, at a certain distance, they were taking off on us.
So y'all just walk, or you try to chase it down?
I kind of started saying, all right, well, it's not my fault, but it was kind of too. And I would walk, usually walk to school. And that was like, I don't know how many miles that was at that point, but that was like an adventure at that point. But yeah, and then in the school, like I remember the first day I got on the bus to go home. Again, I don't understand. Like, I don't know if this is the 80s, bro. I can't imagine this happening now. But nobody gave me instructions on how to get on the bus or which bus. I come out of school, I get on a bus because I know where my bus stop is. The bus takes me to my school, so okay, that's common sense. I get out of school and there's like 100 yellow buses that all look the same. Nobody gave me an instruction manual that I need to find bus number whatever.
That's how I feel like Greyhound buses are. Like, I mean, even the names sometimes aren't really what it is.
Bro, it was wild. So I get in this bus, and it's a bus that's going to Richmond Heights. I don't know if you know anything about Miami. I'm in Arvida. It's going opposite. I was living on one side of town, and Richmond Heights is down south. and I see the bus. I go in the bus. There's a bunch of like I felt like it was older kids, but it was ruckus in the bus, you know.
Yeah.
And the kids knew I wasn't supposed to be on that bus, so it's a little wild. I'm stepping on sneakers.
Oh.
Like, yeah, no, it's about to go down. Then the bus approaches a street that's like central, an avenue where it's like either it's gonna go south or it's gonna go right and go. I mean, left and go north, where I know is more my way. I see it go towards the right lane, put on the signal, and I'm like, yo,
Where are you taking me?
This is not right. Yo, I'm like, hey, and the bus starts telling me to shut the fuck up. And the kids are telling me, and I'm like, yo, hey, this is not my bus. And the lady's like, opens the thing and just lets me out right there, bro.
No.
And I had to walk from where I was at to the crib, which was a few miles.
Yo, they didn't give a fuck.
No, I'm telling you, the 80s was wild. The 80s. And I made sure that next day I looked at, I looked at the bus I was on in the morning, looked at the number, and made sure I've looked for that bus. And I think a couple times in the first couple days, even though I knew the bus number, it was just so many buses and the kids were just running in that. And, just the chaos of the first days of school that I missed the bus. Like it left me.
Yo, can you now flip the script, right? Because back then there was no cell phone, there wasn't any of that, right? And you were probably on the latchkey tip. Your mom's probably working, so
100%. She's working.
Yeah, she probably didn't even know that was going on because she wasn't necessarily waiting for you to come home at a certain time. So, but you get home, whatever. But imagine now, right? Like, yo, that happens to your kid. The bus driver leaves them, lets them go. They show up at home at like 5, I don't know, some crazy time. Like, you imagine the stress we would be going through?
No, that's not happening. Now, and to be fair to these bus drivers, who I do think were wild, the kids were wild, man.
Yeah. Bro.
So I know those bus drivers, like, if they had any kind of like years in that game, they were just like, nah, bro, like we gotta be tougher than these kids. And
it's almost like you got to be an ex-cop to be a bus driver back in that day to even have a chance.
Yeah, kids are throwing things. I remember kids starting fights with people and kids outside the bus, from, other schools or other cars passing by and that causing problems, people trying to start a fight, stop the bus to fight kids. Like it was wild. But, once I got the hang of the bus and got my footing in the school and got my friends, because, it was all a part of my whole like adjusting to Miami time frame. Mm-hmm. Then, the bus became a whole other different, like it was the after party after school, then I'm going to the back of the bus and sitting there,
You being the wild one.
Me being the wild one. Yeah. Like, at that point. So yeah, the bus definitely, but again, I don't imagine it's the same today. I can't, social media, I don't think, like you said, telling the parents wouldn't allow it today. Like, could you imagine if something would have happened to me after that bus driver just dropped me off there?
Yeah, you know how easy it could have been that you could have got hit by a car or some wild shit.
Anything.
Major
intersection in a city that I'm not really familiar with.
And you were in middle school, right?
Yeah, but young middle school. No, remember it's junior high, so I'm in 7th grade. This is me as a 7th grader, not an 8th grader now, like middle school. It's 7th grade.
I remember this was high school. I didn't have a school bus. We would take the city bus in New York, in the Bronx, right? So I took it for like the first 2 years I was taking the bus to school. And it was when enough kids got on from my school and the nearby public school that were going in the same direction, bro, I felt so bad for the bus driver and the regular folks trying to get to work. Because kids was like pushing each other into the windows of the bus, like kicking it in and busting them sometimes, like throwing the locks from the lockers, like just complete chaos to the point where it got reported to the school. And one time I was caught up in a group that was on that bus that was going nuts, and we get into the school, we're running late, and usually when you're late, you go to detention like immediately. Right. So the dean of discipline grabs all of us. Everybody goes to detention. This dude destroyed us, bro. Like, he tore us a new one. And after that, I was like, I'm not taking this bus no more. I'm not risking my freedom because of these idiots. Because the cops started getting involved. So I just started walking. I was taking my 30-minute walk to school. And I was just like, screw it. I'm just going to do it like that. With the cold or whatever, it was what it was. But I can't see my kids in any situation even remotely similar these days.
Yeah, it's wild. But so yeah, I'm not really going for the school bus thing unless
After your lived experience.
it's just, it's just a place where everything happens, man.
Yo, that's why I first kissed a girl on the school bus. I was in first grade.
I think it might have been mine too.
So like, right. So
Cop
like,
the feel. I definitely was the first time I copped the feel.
Cop the feel. All the debauchery's going on the bus. So yo, if y'all listening, be careful with the bus, y'all. Don't expose your kids to too much going on too early.
It's wild.
Yo, so we went on a vacation last week. We went out to Maryland.
How was that?
We went to Ocean City, Maryland. Now, for those that have probably been out there, there's a famous boardwalk out there that most people go to, and that's kind of the epicenter of Ocean City. So summer before, I had visited Ocean City just for the day, kind of went on the boardwalk and really didn't dig it. Like, it was kind of decrepit to me. This time, we were staying at a friend's house away from the boardwalk, but we could go to the boardwalk and hang out. You kind of got to know when to pick your time to go. And it was a much better experience. But yo, it was mad cold. Like
right now it's cold?
Yo, it was, I won't say freezing, but think about it. You're on the beach. It's a cold wind gusting and the water, bro, 40 degrees maybe. Like it was really, really chilly. And I was like, damn, bro. Like, and the whole week was like that. And we're like, yo, the day we leave, everything's warm, like super sunny, super dope. But so it was 3 families that were staying together at this house. So imagine like it's chaotic. Like there's 8 kids, 6 adults. Like that's a lot of people.
Right.
And everybody got along really well. But there was a moment where, like, this is kind of where the parenting shit comes up. Atoning for my sins here. My buddy and I, we were waiting for our kids. They were going to the arcade because the night before they got a whole bunch of tickets, so they were going to go redeem them. So my buddy and I were waiting in the car, and he and I are big hip hop heads, so we're just listening to joints while we're waiting for the kids. And before you know it, like 40 minutes pass, and we're like, yo, shit, where the kids at? So we're calling them like, yo, hurry up, hurry up. They're like, no, we're at the counter, still changing tickets, whatever. And I'm like, yo, how's that possible? So finally I get fed up and I get up and I walk into the spot. And then I see a couple of them like seem to be playing games, not like redeeming the tickets, right? Yo, I get hot. Cause I'm like, yo, we got places to go. Like we're on a pretty,
tight schedule.
So, and we had dinner reservations for 7 and it's approaching 7:00. So we're like, yo, we got to move. So I get in there and I'm talking to my daughter because she's the one that I set the expectations with. And I'm like, yo, look, y'all need to go in there, boom, get this thing done, get out because we got to move. And she's with 3 other people. So I go straight to her and I'm like, yo, what do you do? She's at the ticket counter getting the tickets figured out. But 2 of the other 3 kids are like doing other things, like playing. And I'm like, yo, I thought we was moving. Like, what happened? And so what she kept telling me when I kept calling was that she was redeeming the tickets, which sure enough, she was doing. But the expectation was all of y'all that's your one mission and you're out. Like there's no more playing. So what I observe when I'm coming in is the opposite. Y'all are stalling, they're playing, and y'all just milking this moment when we got shit to do. So I get hot. I hold, I'm like screaming and barking at her, like, yo, why you lie to me? Like all this stuff. And basically calling her a liar. And yo, she was like pissed, right? Because first she understands that I'm upset with her. So that doesn't sit well. And then she hears me calling her a liar. So,
but you didn't say the words liar. You just said
why
you're lying to me.
I may have, but yeah, but I'm like, why are you lying to me? That's not what you told me. You said this, that. So I'm like illustrating the conversation that we had. And so we get back to the crib and we're still carrying the same conversation, right? And I'm trying to explain to her my perspective. Like, yo, look how much time passed. What was the plan going in? All the details. And then she's kind of like not listening to my side of it and just force feeding me her side of it. Like I was redeeming the tickets.
Right. She was doing her part.
Right. But I'm like, but the expectation was that you're the oldest and you know that you were supposed to be responsible for the rest of
Like
y'all.
wrangle everybody else.
Yeah. And not let anything kind of move left to delay things, right? So whatever, we get into it a little bit and she starts crying, right?
Mm.
And then I'm not really like being empathetic about that. I'm just kind of like, yo, you're not listening to me, and I'm just still trying to get my point across, right? And then
your wife is there?
Yeah, my wife, the other parents, the other
And
kids.
everybody's listening to this happen?
Everybody.
Oh, you're the worst.
The whole world. So then I just stopped. Like I'm not gonna keep beating over the head with this shit. Like, let me just take a break. We move away. We go to dinner. The adults go to dinner. Then we come back. And my daughter, I guess, texts my wife at some point as we're getting back, like, yo, she wants to talk to you, like, when you have some down. Actually, no, she texts me, Dad, I want to talk to you about what happened. Like, let me know when you have time. And I was actually surprised about that because it's easier to just be like, yo, whatever, let's just let it pass and not address it, right? But it was bothering her. So we get back. I'm sitting out on the porch or whatever, and she comes out, and then she's like, "Dad, are you busy? Can we talk?" And I'm like, "No, let's talk." So I'm letting her get everything out that she wants to get out, and we're having a very like civil conversation, both of us just trying to understand each other. And finally, we get to a point where it's clear for both of us. And I'm like, "Look, I'm sorry that you felt like I'm calling you a liar, but you got to understand, like, given everything that we discussed and what the expectations were, it looked to me like it was a lie that was happening. And now I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, it would have been easy if you could just tell me, yo, it's taking too long. The lady's taking too long. We found out there was a little bit of extra money in one of the cars, so the kid went and got more tickets while we're still waiting." I was like, that's easy. Like, all logical, there would have been no issue. But there's all these other things that they're not thinking about because I'm the parent. We're not with them in that spot, and we're in a public place. Like, how do you know you don't get snatched up or whatever, right? So long ass story, but the point of what I'm trying to get across here is like, I made some missteps, she made some missteps, but we were able to have an honest conversation when cooler heads were prevailing, and then be able to just like resolve it in a manner that I hadn't experienced with her before.
That's
It was a very mature conversation, and one that I think at the end of it all resolved really amicably. And now I think there's a higher level of respect and understanding between us.
And that's really mature of her because she could have easily gone the route of, you know what, I'm just not going to talk to him and be just mad and embarrassed that you kind of called her out in front of people and take that really personal.
Totally. And on top of it, like you said, very mature, but because I wasn't really thinking about like having another conversation because I was feeling like, yo, she's not listening to me. So it's like, it's dead. Like, she's not going to get it. So the fact that she was willing, like, it mattered to her. I think the clarity mattered, but also me not seeing her as a liar really mattered to her.
That shows how much she respects you, to be honest with you.
I felt that. And I could look, I'm not saying like I could have handled that shit a lot better.
Right.
But like there was so many other things stressing me at that time, just given how much time had lapsed, that my worry took over, and that those reactions happened. But yeah, it was at the end of the day, it was a dope experience. It just kind of it was rooted in kind of wild, kind of a crazy scenario.
Yeah, I mean, short fuse Manny's a dick. That's for sure.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Tremendo come venga.
Yeah. So, did you go to Disney yet?
To Disney? No, we did. We went to Orlando. We went to
That's what it was. It wasn't Disney.
Like a resort type of place, and then we came back, and then we went to Key Biscayne, the Ritz. For vacation.
Yo, was the homie there that makes the drinks?
We didn't even go. Well, we got there on a Thursday. It was a one night, Thursday to Friday, and the Thursday they didn't even have it open.
Got it.
That bar for over the summer, they may have some excuse that on the weekdays. I don't know. They only open Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I don't know, whatever. So no, we didn't see homie, but did the pool. The kids just like I was telling you about my son's bruise on his eye is from swimming because the kids this summer did swimming classes.
Oh, how'd that go?
Amazing. I've been wanting to do this for the longest time. I think it's crucial that the kids learn to swim young. And I thought it was already taking too long to teach them how to swim. And we had some lady come to the house and teach them how to swim. And so when we went to the pool at the Ritz, like I said, they had this like newfound freedom, which I'm also being careful with because, hey, so just because you think you know how to swim good, I don't want you guys thinking, you're going to run around in the deep end and do all this crazy stuff. And that little bit of freedom is what had my son do a misstep when he went to reach for the side of the pool and bam, he hit his face. But it wasn't even a thing. Like he hit it and it wasn't a deal, but it caused a bruise for him.
Yeah.
But nothing. The kids enjoyed the pool. They now they know how to swim better. We're gonna do like some not like refresher or maintenance classes so that they keep learning, but they know all the basics and swimming across the pool and underwater and over water and jumping into the pool, finding the side of the pool. So I'm happy about that.
That's one less stressor you got to worry about, and you can enjoy more that way.
Yeah, and now they actually both, especially my son who was a little bit like, he likes going in the pool, but he has a weird thing with water and water getting his face and water getting his hair and like water in his nose. And what was dope that came out of these lessons for him is he's learned how to close off, the nose and the mouth and blowing out through the mouth bubbles and not taking in water, which is huge for him. Little less that he jumps in now and swims across the pool and comes up for a breath. Like it's dope to see
like
that
a fish now.
To see that progression. Now he loves the pool, and I could imagine him doing like maybe eventually having them do like legit swimming classes or a swimming summer camp or something to see if swimming's a thing that they could take to because it's such a good sport.
It's dope. That's good, but that's a win for the summer.
Yeah, I would say so, man. And then my daughter, she did ballet camp. Well, it was dance camp. They did ballet and other things. My son, finished his school and then they both went to like this little my gym. I don't know if we've talked about if there's my gyms where you're at. They did my gym together. My daughter did like a week of it after her summer camp ended, and they had a pretty good summer, man. I'm not gonna lie. I think their summer was pretty good. Although they would have loved to have gone to Disney. We didn't go to Disney. But Disney again is on the horizon for
next week.
December, so
at least it's December, because right now over there, bro. Oh,
but you know what's crazy, dude? That if anybody has listened to Fatherhoods, would hearing me talk about all this stuff from the first time we were gonna go, how I was scared shitless to go. Yeah. I actually am with it. I look forward to it. I'm down with it. I enjoy the whole Disney World thing. I love driving up there with the kids. That time with them in the car. Yeah, it's a little stressful, but I just enjoy the memories of it and them having the memories. They might not remember a specific trip to Disney, but the idea that they'll be like, we used to go and do these Disney trips regularly.
Yeah.
And it's such a luxury thing that they don't realize right now, but maybe later when they're adults, they'll be like, wow, that was pretty damn cool that my parents would take us to Disney a couple times a year.
Yo, when those tickets are like $400 a day, they're gonna be like, yo,
or when Disney's just only virtual reality in your home, walking around and doing the rides that way.
It's funny because the prices of those tickets. So when I said this time of year, I meant like the weather, because the sun's the heat right about now is terrible. So going in December is dope. But I was reading like the financials recently for Disney, because I'm a stock owner of a Disney.
Me too.
Shameless plug. Yeah, I figure my kids are gonna be involved with Disney for the rest of my life, so I might as well figure it out. But they took a L on their theme parks in the recent earnings call, and where they're up big is in their streaming, which I think makes sense. But particularly around the sports stuff, so like the ESPN and that kind of thing. But it's funny to me because the prices of these tickets are insane, which is probably part of the reason, right? Like it's cost prohibitive for a lot of families. But man, and they're building like villains parks now and all sorts of really cool shit. So I think they'll rebound obviously because they're a behemoth, but it's an experience, man. But I hear a lot of like my buddy, his youngest is my son's age almost. His youngest is about to be 10, and he's like, yo, I'm not going to Disney. Like he's staunchly opposed to going to Disney.
Like he's never gone
with his kids. Maybe when they were really young, but he's just like, he just can't sit still, him, and then like waiting in lines and having to deal with the chaos of the kids arguing and all that shit will stress him out. So he's like, I'm avoiding that shit like the plague.
Well, we don't really do lines. We do the genie pass and the.
Does that shit really work, or do you still have to spend some time?
It's annoying, and shout out to my wife because she deals with it, because you literally have to like book the rides, and you have to, and they book out, like they get sold out basically. So you have to like wake up. Like I remember being on these trips, and my wife, like all of a sudden I look like at 5:30 in the morning and I see her on her phone, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "I'm booking the rides."
Because you can only do it the day of, right?
Yeah, for for the popular, like the real popular rides, you got to pay a little extra. But I'm like, for convenience, I'm in. Like, let's do all that. And on top of that, the kids being little, you can only do so many rides with the kids, and then maybe we'll do one ride if we're with other adults that maybe me and my wife will do, and someone will watch the kids. But you're only doing a handful of rides. But I've come to enjoy the park part. Walking around, that's still crazy. But one thing I've come to enjoy is the resorts, and now that I've gone to different places, like I went to Legoland, I went to this recent resort spot that's brand new in Orlando. Now that I have some stuff to compare it to, even though the resorts are also a little like they get a little chaotic in terms of the amount of people, they really they're like the way that they're special attention to detail. Yeah. In terms of like the kids, the people that work there, it's like I feel like they say they put them through Disney University or whatever. Like you could tell where you go somewhere else and it's like it's like regular. Wacky. Yeah, it's regular, it's wacky, it's not kept up properly. Legoland to me is the hood. Like that's the hood.
Yeah.
My kids loved it. I'm like, nah, yo, take me back to Disney. Legoland made me fall in love with Disney. I'm like, oh no, take me back to Disney, bro. Let's go to Disney.
It's a different experience. We're actually going to one of the Disney resorts in a couple of weeks, and it's one of the reasons we became Disney Vacation Club members. And we're not sponsored by them, so don't take all this like as something you got to fit. We're doing it for their sake, but it really is like you said, like you can tell the quality of the care and attention, and the way they treat the kids, because we kind of disarm when we go to these Disney resorts because it's so safe and they're so caring and it's genuine. Like the people that interact with our kids know how to sniff out like bullshit.
Yeah.
When we ask them like, yo, how'd it go? Blah, blah, blah. They're like, yo, this person's amazing, blah, blah, blah. Like this is what they did with us. And so we just drop them off sometimes when the resort has like the kids clubs or whatever.
Right.
Bro, amazing.
No, listen, we went to I don't know if it was I think it was a 5-star hotel recently. And the people look like they didn't want to be there, the employees. Like they could barely greet you. They're like, good morning. They wouldn't open doors. Like, like I'm just saying like stuff that for the price point of what you're paying, man, you go to the Disney resorts, man. I remember one time we walked into the resort. We had just pulled up. It's like I said, there's mad people pulling into there vacationing. We pull up. The person, not even at the door, like at where the valet parking is, somehow knew the name of my kids off rip. Like, I don't know what CIA agent is feeding them the information of our GPS of when we're going to arrive.
Well, there's a check-in before you could even approach the hotel.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Damn, I'm an idiot. That's what it was.
No, but it's not like you're telling them all your kids' information, but they do have a record of everything.
Yeah, because they had like an iPad, like a pad, and they're like, they're getting some information that's giving them a heads up. But yeah, the fact that they say, "Hey, so and so," and then they walk in with you, and let me help you with this, and they're talking to the kids, and they're like, "Oh," like I'm like, and they look like they genuinely want to be there and genuinely happy for the kids being there, for you guys to have a good time. Where this other place that we're paying a grip of money and is probably more like comfortable in terms of like it's a newer hotel, newer rooms, and all that stuff. Nah, man, the people were whack as heck, bro. Like they couldn't even open the door. They see a family with 2 kids, everybody holding luggage, and they didn't have anybody to open the door for us. Nah, yo. Like my wife complained the next day, and then they had a guy at the door who looked like he hated life. Like he didn't even know when's the right time to open the door. He was like, like because of the complaint.
Oscar the grouchy doorman.
And look, I know this is first world problems, man.
I know, it's true.
Like I hate to be saying this kind of stuff, and someone out there's like, damn, man, we ain't even gone once yet this year. But
but you can at some point, hopefully, and then you know kind of what to look out for. But you got to try and go, bro. I know it's a hell of a freaking trip because it's far. And
don't say DR.
That's not far at all. To the Hawaii Aulani Resort.
Oh no, we want to. I mean, it's just that flight.
Yo, let's see if we can coordinate it together because that's my home.
Down.
That's my home resort. So that joint, bro, like, and what's wild is like every time we go, we've been there probably like 6 times. Every time we go, we have the intention of touring Hawaii because we're there. Right. Like, bro, twice have we ever left the resort. And the resort's not like a huge theme park. It's not. It's a relatively speaking like a smallish resort compared to like resorts.
All right.
And bro, it's just the way it's organized, the things that they have available, the dope spot they have. Like they have a little plaza right across the street, so you don't have to get in a car for nothing, bro. And it's dope time, real dope.
No, yeah, let me know. I definitely. I mean, we love Hawaii, but my thing is just it's like when I said I didn't want to go to Disney originally. Flying with the kids that far out, I'm like, oh.
You gotta break it up. Like the way we do it, we either stop in Texas and then fly after, like either spend like 3-4 hours on the ground and then get on again, or Texas or LA and then fly the next day or something like that to break it up. Because it's a lot with kids. It's a ton of time.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. If it's left up to me, I'll just once we're in, go straight there.
Yeah, me too.
But again, I'm not trying to rub it, but I'd try to make sure everybody was in primera clase.
Oh yeah, yeah. If you can hack it, that's the best way to do. At that point, I'm going straight.
Like put us in that, man.
In the little cubbies with the bed joint. Yeah, I want that.
Yeah, give me my little private pod.
All right, bro. I gotta go manage some children, so
my brother,
I bid you adieu.
All right, I'm gonna consult now with Socrates, who's a teacher starting his first day of school today. So I'm gonna see him at the gym right now.
Oh yeah, wait, like grade school? No, he's a high school teacher, right?
High school teacher, yeah.
God bless that man.
Yeah, let's see.
No wonder he does CrossFit because he's got to protect himself against these hooligans.
Him and his wife are both teachers.
Both high schools,
and all 3 of their kids had to go to school with them as teachers at the school.
That's funny. Yo, we gotta get him on and talk that shit.
Yo, two of his kids are in Ivy League schools.
Yo, we gotta get him on the pod. Talk some stuff.
We haven't had him on the pod?
Nah. You know what it is? When we're together, we see him enough where it feels like we might have been on the pod.
Well, if we have him on the pod, just prepare for a Socrates filibuster because we just have to ask one question and it's on.
That's what we need. All right, bro. Peace.
Yo, be a father. If not, why bother, son? A boy can make them, but a man can raise one. Be a father to your child. Be a father to your child.